Hello everybody! Welcome to part 3 of the new character art challenge. Now, I have to commend some specific artists for taking part in this entire thing. They felt as if their work wouldn't be strong enough, but I was sure to let them know that they should still give the effort, because who knows, maybe we'll exceed their own expectations. I bring this all up because this was a similar conflict faced by Zephyr Breeze, the haughty hairstylist. Easily the most disliked new character of Season 6, Zephyr made his debut in Flutterbrudder, where he has to learn to overcome his fear of failure if he wants to persist in life. As mentioned, there have been tons of criticisms launched towards this character. Many have complained that Zephyr was too manipulative, arrogant, and lazy, and as a result, it's hard to root for him. Now this is pretty understandable. A character that possesses those traits could turn plenty of people off. At the same time, however, he's kinda supposed to be written like that. Him being unmotivated and conceited is practically essential to his character because it gives Fluttershy the motivation to be assertive. But without his scheming personality, he wouldn't have brought the best out of her, and that's obviously something the episode wanted to display. Besides, we should be fair here. There are a good number of us who fear the idea of failure. A lot of us always feel as if we won't perform well on certain tasks, so we don't see the value in even trying to complete them very well. We all need to be shown a little tough love every now and then if we're going to achieve the goals we set in mind, and move forward in life. So while Zephyr is not the most sympathetic character, in the end, he's a great example of why we all sometimes need a little push in our lives, even if it's just a Zephyr Breeze. And now for the entries. Now this first drawing shows that you can show a completely different side to a character, that there's more than what meets the eye. Best of all, it proves that you can do it from just a phone. Simply titled New Character Challenge, here's the entry from devoted fan of MLP and letter B, MLP Chocofly. Well, here's something we would have never expected to see from the Pegasus pony. This drawing seems to depict Zephyr as a more playful character. We see him act like an egotistical fool so much that we've never considered that he may have a lighthearted side to his persona. It's not totally surprising, seeing how he's known for being pretty humorous already. The sunset was also a clever choice, since it sets a calm atmosphere, which is the perfect mood to play in. It's always refreshing to see alternate interpretations, because they always manage to jump out at you. As stated before, this piece seems to portray Zephyr Breeze in a different light. Most artists would want to draw him in much different scenarios, like hitting on Rainbow Dash, getting hit by Rainbow Dash. Others just show Fluttershy being fed up with him. However, this drawing seems to do a nice job at deviating away from those concepts. It's good to see ZB show off his cute side for once. In terms of execution, this piece is pretty impressive, especially when you acknowledge the device that was used. The image has lots of color and detail, like the blending of the sky and the different shades of grass, which help the image stand out and keep your attention, though the brighter grass could be a bit subtler in shading. The figure is a bit distorted, but one could argue it to be a cool reflection of Zephyr Breeze being awkward. The face is also nicely designed. His 5 o'clock shadow is easy to see, and the shine in his mane and tail show a curvature to it, giving it more life and a softer feel. It also emphasizes his need to look majestic. Zephyr is also given a great amount of detail when it comes to his ears, wings, tail, and mane. You can count the amount of feathers his wings contain, which is splendid since it gives them a sense of authenticity. In terms of other critiques, he could have a bigger mane instead of wings, but that may just be a minor nitpick. Finally, his body is given a great sense of shading, especially on his belly, his neck, his legs, and hindquarters. It makes his body feel like it has an actual three-dimensional shape. Truly, there's plenty to compliment with the technique. This drawing also has plenty of emotion to it. It gives a feeling of warmth and joy. This can make anyone smile and feel happy inside, mainly from seeing his smile. The background is soothing and beautiful, with its different colors that fade into the next one so smoothly. It makes you feel relaxed, at ease, and eager to spend time with Zephyr Breeze. All in all, this is a very well done piece of an otherwise awkward character. If this was all done from a phone, then I want whatever app Chocofly is downloaded. Now, no one knows how often we'll get to see the Pegasus pony once more, but I know one particular artist that's willing to depict what he'll be like the next time he comes around. Known for drawing dogs and writing plays, this is Time Lord and her entry titled Zephyr Breeze. If you mix traditional art with the words awesome and 20% cooler, you might get this. What makes this particular piece interesting is that it presents him with a sense of nobility, based on his stature. The lifted leg, raised eyebrow, and wings standing up portray him as a stallion with confidence and determination. He's cocky, but in a firm way. He has a soul with depth that probably many would have loved to see. This is definitely a pony that one could rely on. In fact, you can make the argument that this is him after he has found his new home. Now that he's out in the real world on his own, he's now much stronger, both physically and mentally. That idea alone gives this image a great sense of vision. Perhaps what makes this piece stand out from all the other Zephyr Breeze pieces is how it draws the Pegasus pony in a more realistic sense to match that of a more normal horse. Most of the time, artists don't often draw MLP FIM characters in the proportions and styles of an actual stallion. Therefore, it's nice to see it every once in a while. For traditional art, this piece is phenomenal. For starters, Time Lord gave the stallion great detail. Everything from the hairs in his ears to the whiskers in his beard to the muscles in his chest and arms make me feel like I'm looking at a real horse. His mane and tail are well sketched, are nicely highlighted and drawn in swirls to give them a majestic sense. While the tail is pretty, I gripe that it could be smaller, but that's just a nitpick. Even the coloring and shading deserves credit. Not only do they blend well together and perfectly identify what's in the background and foreground, but also notice how they travel in one direction, and are not drawn in a bunch of scribbles. It feels very refreshing to find an artist that pays close attention to that. The black hooves are especially worth appreciating, since they contrast nicely with the coat. Of course, who could ignore those wings? Those beautiful, majestic wings! They have a sense of life to them. Not only do their size emphasize Zephyr's stature, but they're drawn in the most authentic way possible, just like the pony overall. This illustration would easily put a grin on any observer's face. That's probably because one would feel more trust. Seeing him in this light makes you want to put faith in the stallion. It makes you confident that he could accomplish anything his heart desires, now that his big sister has shown him that he should never fear failure. It's defiant, it's bold, his path to glory is foolproof! The artist did a wonderful job at showing Zephyr to be a capable pony. He's surely gone from being Zephyr Breeze to Mighty Breeze. Gosh, what a well-put stallion. Anyway, while we're on the subject of art, we might as well talk a bit about originality. While conforming to what's popular might earn us more attention, it diminishes the passion and uniqueness of our work. Fortunately, this is a lesson that many artists have and will continue to learn, and two of them happen to be Coriander Cumin and Saffron Masala, the sharp chefs. The first duo on the list, Coriander and Saffron, were first introduced in Spice Up Your Life, an episode where they must learn to cooperate and turn the restaurant, the Tasty Treat, into a success. They also must learn the importance of not having to conform just to meet the standards of specific individuals, and that they should always remain unique. For the most part, these two have been positively received among the fans. Many have praised the dynamic father-daughter duo they had, and how they interacted with each other like real family members. Fans also found their contrasting personalities appealing. While Saffron is more upbeat and optimistic, Coriander is more downbeat and cynical. It was also pretty nice to see them recall why they wanted to open the restaurant in the first place, after being at each other's throats for quite some time. It makes total sense, because when you're under that much pressure, it's easy to forget why you initially started a creative project at all. So that was pretty endearing. Some have also complained that the designs of the characters might be offensive, which is pretty fair. Then again, it does make them look visually interesting. Besides, it's likely that they wanted to display as much Southeastern culture as possible in a city based on English culture. Either way, having Coriander and Saffron was still a real treat. You know, after how successful the Tasty Treat has become, you would assume that Saffron would love to take a break after all the hard work. It's good to see the unicorn unwind after all she's been through, and our next piece depicts that perfectly. Titled Saffron Masala Character Design, this is the entry from lover of fantasy and cartoons, Toko Kami. In this illustration, we have Saffron walking under a little tree. We don't see her as her active usual self. As stated before, one has to imagine how busy the unicorn has been after the restaurant gained more traction. Perhaps she wants to take some time for herself to think and unwind after working diligently at the Tasty Treat. It really shows a lot about the character. On top of that, this piece also seems to showcase the pony's splendor judging by the pose. The pink blossoms present a subtle symbol of peace, love, and beauty. It brings about a calm sense, which is lovely. This artist definitely knows how to present the mare. Clearly, we haven't seen Saffron depicted in this scenario before. Most artists will be more intent on showing the unicorn as busy or showing off her magnificence. This illustration takes a direction that slightly deviates away from those other pieces. We find that there's more to her than just cooking and looks. We see her at a thinking place, an area where she can be at peace with her thoughts. Hopefully, we can see more of these drawings of her in the coming days. This piece also has a good sense of technique. What's also impressive is how the artists captured it all in a circular form. They're smart enough to know that all they need to do in order to create an environment is a single tree and a few scattered flowers. It gives you a sense of where Saffron is, and it's all left to the observer to picture the location she's in. That takes plenty of skill. What's also admirable is the vibrancy of her mane. When most people stick to Saffron's more usual dark purple color, seeing its vibrancy here is a very nice change of pace. There are plenty of other details that are very welcoming, like the detail of the tree bark, the curvature of the branches, the shine on her jewelry, and even the emotion in her eye, which gives off a sense of serenity. As for criticisms, the artist could work on the shadowing a bit more. In addition, her anatomy could have more definition to it. For example, the thighs could be skinnier, and her hindquarters could be rounded more. Other than that, the execution is pretty well done. This piece has the capability of bringing a sense of calmness to wash over the observer. The energy of it is soothing and relaxing. It leaves the viewer with a smile and a new relaxed mind. In fact, this drawing could also make the viewer want to visit Saffron in her quiet place and relax with her. Or maybe they'll be so inspired by her tranquility that they'll try leaving her be. Oh, the possibilities! Either way, this illustration gives off a great sense of harmony through unique ideas and decent execution. It definitely deserves something beyond a 3 hooves rating. Personally, I'm glad that we have these two characters, because they show us how diverse and different each individual can be. They inspire us to learn more about new cultures and the ways in which people live, as our next submission emphasizes. Drawn by the lover of comics and horse flanks, Puckster V, this is the simply titled Saffron Masala. Now here's a mare that loves to party. This drawing seems to present Saffron as a more festive pony. You'll notice that here, she abandons her shirt and instead is sporting a cape as well as some face paint. It seems as if Saffron is really intent on expressing and celebrating the culture of her hometown. It's very appropriate since, as mentioned before, Saffron could be intent on displaying Indian culture to those that aren't very familiar with it. Even the tambourine is a nice touch to add to the festive atmosphere, although it could be something more fitting in terms of Southeast Asian culture, like a kanjira. Overall, it still captures what kind of pony Saffron is presenting herself as. At this point, there have been a countless amount of drawings devoted to the unicorn. Now, I can't say that this drawing doesn't deviate away too much from those other pieces, but what I can say is that it does offer something that most other Saffron pictures don't: culture. It presents plenty of ethnicity of where Saffron is from. Other drawings seem more concerned with displaying Saffron's beauty, and while this one seems to do something similar, it still has different motives, with slight alternations in costume and additions of props and makeup. That's definitely something worth admiring. Who could possibly deny how astonishing the technique in this picture is? For starters, the piece does a great job at utilizing clever light sources as well as a soft shadow. At no point does she ever feel flat or unvibrant. The artist gave her proper shadows along her body to give her form, while giving her a good flare of different colors, especially in the curving mane, which adds a unique shine to her and is much more appealing to see than a flat purple. On top of that, she's given beautiful eyes that are designed to look deeper, a cape that's drawn to look comfortable and demonstrate movement, and a magical aura that reflects flawlessly off her face and avoids detracting from her pigmentation. Even the colorful background is very pleasing. It avoids a boring white space but doesn't diminish the tension from the subject. It's simple, yet layered. One criticism would be to avoid color leaking, like with the red circle of her cape, and that aura could use more sparkles. But really, that's just about it. Phenomenal technique overall. This picture has a great sense of energy. It makes the observer want to get up and dance. The way that Saffron is holding her tambourine and standing on her hind legs gives me the feeling to want to move my own legs. Not only that, but it makes me want to delve into Indian culture even more, and learn so much about their way of living. Overall, Puckster created a piece with great vision and vibrant style. While it could have been a tad more original, she was able to make it work. Wow, I guess no one loved Coriander Cumin enough to draw him. That's kinda sad. But enough about that. Anyway, thank you for joining me for part 3. Tune in for part 4, where we take a look at a nerd and the leader of the herd. Stay tuned.